Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Miller of Pursuit Physiotherapy, and today we're going to go over what you should do if you have a herniated disc and sciatica, but you're not going to get surgery and you've been dealing with it for a couple months now. So we've seen a couple cases like this where someone initially has their back pain and they have a herniated disc and they have this acute sciatica and they go through some pain meds, and a lot of times acute cases of spine pain will spontaneously go away in 2 months. These type of people end up going on some pain meds and it takes its natural course, and a lot of the acute pain calms down. But they get a lot of imaging done and they're told that they have a herniated disc, but they're starting to get better. And they end up opting not to get surgery. Okay, so months later it happens that their symptoms are getting better, but they still have sciatica. So the question is, what should you do if this is your case? Okay, a lot of times we've had multiple cases of this, but one specific case was she had a herniated disc and she was still experiencing sciatica. 6 months later, she consulted with 3 different physicians. They all took MRIs and they all wanted to do surgery to fix the herniated disc. But her symptoms were getting, they weren't severe pain or severe shooting sciatica. She wasn't having foot drop or anything, but she just had this intermittent pain that shot down the back of her leg. She was diagnosed with sciatica and she was told to get surgery. So she came in and consulted with us, and what I found was the herniated disc was actually healing itself. If not, it was already healed. So again, she's past the acute inflammatory phase, and the disc itself was probably healing. Yes, she still had a herniated disc on imaging, but it wasn't causing her pain. It wasn't causing her sciatica. But she still wasn't able to sit long. She wasn't able to bend forward. She wasn't able to return to running yet. Everyone was telling her that she had to get surgery, but she came to see me. And the interesting finding was, it was almost this concept of neural tension, where after you get this herniation and the sciatica, the body kind of tightens up, it kind of protects itself. And she has this nerve tightness that's still present. Because she didn't present like a herniated disc. She almost presented the opposite. Most herniated discs will say bending forward, sitting, driving, and leaning forward to pick up stuff increases their pain. Standing and walking makes it better. That's just the textbook kind of signs and symptoms of it. How she presented was the total opposite. Sitting, she didn't have a lot of pain, but whenever she stood up and walked or tried to run or too much standing, she'd get her sciatica symptoms. And then occasionally whenever she tried to bend down and get stuff, but sitting was okay, which was an interesting finding there, because most people with a herniated disc, or at least an acute one, they say sitting makes it worse. Her symptoms were kind of opposite, and it wasn't sensitive. It passed, a lot of my herniated disc tests, but she had this residual neural tension that was present, or I would even say a lack of hamstring flexibility. That was this root cause of why she was still getting sciatica. So once I treated that and regained that flexibility, her sciatica symptoms were gone. But again, she still had the herniated disc. Again, I felt that because she pushed through the pain and she was more of a chronic state, whether it's 4, 6, or 8 months later after having acute sciatica, once I regained that neural flossing and the flexibility back, her sciatica went away. And then we were able to treat her back, start regaining full hip flexibility, full back flexibility, doing some McKenzie approaches to push the herniation back in. Then she was able to strengthen and get back to running, being symptom-free. So even today, if you took an image of that MRI of her back and took like MRI imaging, she'd probably still have the herniation. It doesn't mean you always have to have pain though. So this is an interesting case where just because you have herniation doesn't mean it has to have pain. I have a herniated disc at L5S1. It probably happened back in the days of playing football in high school, or lifting things the wrong way, or doing so that caused the herniation. But I don't have any back pain, even though I have a herniated disc. This is the same case now. She had an acute herniation. It healed with time. She had this secondary residual effect that was causing her sciatica. Her sciatica was not from the herniated disc anymore, it was more from the neural tension. We solved that, we fixed it, regained range of motion, we got back to strengthening, and then she got back to a return to run program being symptom free. So the point is that just because you have a herniated disc doesn't mean you always have to have surgery, especially if you have more of a chronic condition of sciatica. Doesn't mean you always have to have surgery. So if you have any questions about this, you can put them in the comment box below. If you're dealing with something like this, please give us a call at 407-494-8835 or visit us at pursuittherapy.com. We would love the opportunity to help out, and there's always a reason why you're in pain. It's just up to us to kind of solve it for you and help you out. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you soon.